Shalom and welcome to the weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. Today we'll be looking at Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 12. If you remember verse 11, the Lord is calling out his people, saying, "Has my house upon which my name is called become a den of robbers, a cave of robbers in your eyes?" I've been watching everything that's going on because of their presumption in sinning and thinking that they're safe because they are in God's house. Well, here in verse 12, God's going to give them a little history lesson, a little reminder from their own past to make them think about the foolishness of their presumption. Let's read the text in Hebrew as we get started. Ki lakuna el makomi asher bashilo asher shikanti shemisham barishona ur'u et asher asiti lo mipnei ra'at ami Yisrael. So we start out with this for, and it's introducing this strong argument that he's going to give us here. For, go now. And what we have here is an imperative. You can see that, MPV. And it's going to be to MP with this shurik on the end. So this is a plural imperative. And this is a cal from our verb halak. And you're used to seeing, I believe, that first hay drops off in many of the forms here, and that's what we have here. So the hay's disappeared. We just have the lameth and the calf. But go now to my place. Makom means place, and with a first common singular suffix on it. My place. What's this referring to? My place, my tabernacle, my sanctuary. It's not defined, but you're going to see very clearly in the following verse expressions here that this is referring to the sanctuary complex, probably the temple, not the temple, but the tabernacle complex. Go to my place, which, and we don't have a verb here, which is sort of interesting, which was in Shiloh. Now this is a proper noun here. Shiloh refers to this place where the tabernacle was first set up when the Israelites came into the land under Joshua. So you find Shiloh showing up in the book of Joshua, and the tabernacle and the ark was set up there. And it continues on into the book of 1 Samuel. This is where old Eli the priest and his two worthless sons were ministering, and young Samuel got his call at Shiloh. But if you read the rest of that story with the Philistine attacks, you know what happened to Shiloh because of the presumption of the people at that point. So this is a very good history lesson. So he tells them, go to my place, which was at Shiloh, which shikanti, which I caused to dwell. Let's look at this verb here. This is obviously a perfect. With a T ending on it, it's formative. It's going to be a first common singular. This is a PL. Good signs of appeal again. You get the hirik, you get the doubling. We've seen this, and it's from the verb shakan. We've seen this several times in chapter 7 already. In the cal, shakan means to dwell. In the PL, the basic notion in the PL would be to cause to dwell, and that's going to be its notion here, which I caused to dwell my name, shem, plus a pronoun suffix, my name there, which I caused to dwell my name there. We would put the sham and the asher together to say, in English, the relative pronoun where I caused my name to dwell. Now, you may remember that in a couple of the previous verses, shakan, even in the PL, had the notion probably not to cause to dwell, but to allow you to dwell. If you reform your ways, I will allow you to continue to dwell in this land. But here it's more the direct explicit idea of causing to dwell, but it's happened in the past, where, this is in Shiloh, where I caused my name to dwell there. In other words, that's back in Shiloh. Ba rishona. So what is this? Well, we have a preposition, we have the article underneath, and we have rishona, which is actually a feminine adjective. The masculine form, rishon, would end with a simple final nun, and the adjective means first or former. The feminine form, shona, almost picks up sort of an adverbial idea. At the former time, in other words, in previous days, in former times, we would say. So this is sort of a looking back to the past. You can see this rosh, sort of the root of the idea of head or something way back at the beginning. This also sounds like Genesis 1:1, Bereshit. So in former times. So think back about Shiloh and what happened in those former times. And as you're looking back at that, see, observe. So we just have a shurik at the beginning, because usually we would have just a conjunction like this, a vav with a schwa, but since the following consonant, the resh, has a schwa, the schwa disappears and becomes more of a shurek. So that's something we're familiar with saying. And see, and this also is an imperative, 2MP, it's a cal, from our verb ra'ah, to observe or to see. Final hey drops off here, which is why you have that. And see, what is it you're going to see? Here's your direct object marker. That which, see what, or that which I did, is a perfect. Yep. There's our perfect first common singular with that sufformative ending from our verb asa. Remember, 3 hey verbs. We'll frequently replace their final hey with a yod, which shows up there. So, which I did to it, and the it referring back to either Shiloh or referring to my place. You think you're privileged because you're here at the temple. Well, there was a privilege placed in Shiloh, and this is what I did to it. And why did I do to that? He doesn't say what he did here, but go back and look. And the place was destroyed. The ark was captured, if you know the story with the Philistines. And why did he do that? From the face of, and literally this is the preposition min with pane, but this combination here can have very much of a causal sense, and that's what we have here. Because of, by reason of. So we would say because of the evil of my people. So we have evil. This is in construct. It would usually be just a simple hey, but it's in construct with my people. And since my people is definite, this becomes definite as well. So because of the evil of my people, Israel. The opposition, my people, who are my people, Israel. So a good lesson to go back and think about before you get too presumptuous about God guaranteeing your safe security in Jerusalem simply because the temple is there. That's not a guarantee. Let's hide our work here and look briefly just at a couple of translations. There's not a lot of variation on this one here. So we're going to look at the Jewish Publication Society, Tanakh. Just go to my place at Shiloh, where I had established my name formerly. So it's pretty straightforward all the way through here. And see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. And almost all of our major translations are going to go in that same direction. I had to look to some of the paraphrases to see a little bit of variation. Go now to the place at Shiloh, where I once put the tabernacle. Now, the tabernacle is not named, but that is clearly what is being referenced here. My place at Shiloh, where I caused my name to dwell. I once put the tabernacle that bore my name, so they've developed that into tabernacle, even without the word. Probably because the Mishkan, the tabernacle, is built off the same verbal root, shakan. And see what I did there because of all the wickedness of my people, the Israelites. The people of Jeremiah's day should have learned a lesson from their own history, just as we, as God's people today, need to continue to learn lessons from the history of God's people in previous times, and whether Old or New Testament. Presumption is not a good thing. Jeremiah is going to take these ideas and apply them in the following verses, so check back with us soon as we continue working through this incredible sermon in the weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. Shalom.